Hello and welcome to OptimizeYourTeaching.com. This is Andy Harrison. I'm here to share with you today a paper collection system that I've been calling the paperclip system. We're going to start with materials, follow that with some construction, and I'm going to invite you into my classroom for some practical applications. Okay, so let's get our materials ready. First, we're going to need some sentence strips, something that's kind of thick there that we can stick to the wall, followed by some jumbo paper clips. You're also going to need an X-Acto knife and a marker that's easy to see. We're also going to need a couple sheets of paper that will help with measurement and some hefty tape to stick these things up. And last but not least, you're going to need some mailing labels. You can check the number down on the bottom, make sure it's compatible with your printer. It'll make printing very easy. Let's take a look at the construction now. So I'm going to first set up my pieces of paper. I'm going to mark where it is that I would like the paper clips to be holding the paper, space it out, mark the next one. I'm going to get 2 sheets of paper per sentence strip. Now if you notice, I've got a little bit of extra on the end. So I'm going to side up that paper again, and I'm just going to cut off the extra. There I have it. That is my template. Okay, now what I need to do is go ahead and put those incisions in along the lines that I've cut, and my template is done. What I can do at this point in time is lay this over top of another sentence strip, cut off the extra, and then following the lines that I have already created, I can put in exactly where the next cuts need to be. Of course, it's a good idea to do more than one strip at a time. So now when adding the paper clips, I stick the small end of the paper clip through the slit, and then I get 4 paper clips per piece of paper, which would then hold 2 pieces of paper snug. And that's all there is to it. Okay, so I asked that you ignore the clutter. It is Christmas break, but I did want to show you what this looks like in the classroom from my perspective. So if I could, I'll hop behind the camera here. This is what I see from the front of my classroom. As these items are hung, so this right here was a test that my students took just before Christmas break, bah humbug. And as I go down, I can see there are 2 differences here. Brian was absent. Go on down, another absent. So you can tell that we had a lot absent right before Christmas break. So from the front of the room, I can see whether or not somebody was absent. If there's one missing, I can see if students need more time as these get turned in. Also, too, you'll note that students are not turning in their papers all to one basket. If they were trying to turn their papers all into this basket here, there would be a traffic jam, a big bottleneck. But what this does is it helps spread students out around the room. If you didn't have the space to put this all in one line like this, you could actually put 3 or 4 students in different spots on your wall space. That would help spread the students out even more, and it would still make it easy for you to see. And you know, once the student knows where their location is, they don't have to look around for it. They remember which spot's theirs. But I do have labels on there, and I'll show you what those labels are here in just a second. Okay, so let's take a closer look then. Okay, so as you can see, the students have pushed their papers up underneath the paper clips. Now the beautiful thing about this is the stickers that I have used, which are just mailing labels that I've printed out. I didn't have to handwrite any of those. They're in alphabetical order. So when I go to take the papers off out of the paper clips, I now have the papers in alphabetical order. So when I go to put all the grades into my digital grade book, there's no tabbing up or tabbing down trying to find the student. I don't even use a hard copy grade book anymore. So imagine, if you would, that I have just given a quiz, and there is a secondary assignment that students are supposed to start on after they are done. I'm up in the front of my room, and I can tell by all the papers set in the back that either everyone is done, or those who aren't done are absent. Those who don't have a paper up there are absent. Okay, so I've had students then with their group mates. If there's a group mate that is absent, one of those students is responsible for putting an absent scrap paper up in the spot. I'll show you why in just a second, but as they're working on their secondary assignment, perhaps their warm-up for the day, something else, I come back and I collect the papers. Now, the great thing about this These papers are all in alphabetical order right now. You might have noticed that I set a paper up on the countertop. You could set it aside anywhere. You could actually leave it hanging if you want. That's a paper that was left without a name. So in my classroom, we get 1 point deducted if you leave a name off your paper. So what I would do at that point in time, I've got my pen with me, I would write the name on there myself, and my payment for having to do that I shouldn't have to do, is to be a -1. So, okay, now also too, I don't have to guess to see whose paper it is. I don't have to hold it up, I don't have to interrupt the class, nothing like that. I just looked at the name tag. It was hanging under the spot. So all I had to do is look at the name tag it was hanging on. That tells me the name of the student. I add the name, I add it to my piles, and that's it. Collection's over. So here's some examples of some other work using the paperclip system. You'll see here this is my classroom duties, and I'm able to change student names and duties in and out very easily. Also too, we did a writing project. Here are some still pictures of that, where students were supposed to display their writing. So rather than turn the papers in with their names in, this was actually a showcase. So I was able to hang lots and lots of papers all over the room very cheaply, and give a chance to do a gallery crawl and have all the student stuff recognized. So I hope this helps. Check me out on OptimizeYourTeaching.com. I'd love to hear your comments and your suggestions. I'd love to see your uses of this idea and some other great tips from my readers and viewers. Have a good one.